Ben Wilson here, Q Bones BBQ, Memphis, Tennessee. I'm a competition barbecue cook across the country, cooking baby back ribs, St. Louis style ribs, whatever, KCBS, NBN, cooked them all. But today, we're gonna make our version of our backyard barbecue ribs. We've got loin back ribs. These are the preferred rib for the Memphis area in which I live in. You know, they come off the loin there. You can see they're a real lean piece of meat. You know, not as much fat as some of your spare ribs, if you will. These are pretty thick. These come from your local grocery store. Great part of these is these came with your membrane already removed. Pretty simple process. If that membrane was there, just to take a paper towel, start at one end of your rib and kind of pull that back there. Not a whole lot of trim to do to these. We're doing backyard ribs. Only trim that we are going to do from these, a little bit of silver skin and fat across here, even that out a little bit. But overall, this is a great slab of ribs here. We'll want to just keep the environment moist and spritz these every hour and until we get the right color on them. We're going to do a simple rub here. We'll do a mustard binder. I'm a binder guy where I like mustard. Doesn't add a lot of flavor to your meat, but I believe that it helps build bark as you go throughout the cook. And it helps your seasoning adhere to your meat a little bit better. So we'll do a mustard binder. We'll then go with a salt, pepper, and garlic rub. Hit it with your basic seasoning. Always start with salt, pepper, garlic, and then we'll go with our all-purpose Grilla Grills rub there. And we'll cook this 275 degrees. All right, so we've got our slab of ribs here. A couple things that I want to do here. It's a little bit of extra meat. I want to even this out just a little bit to make our cook a little bit more even. I'm going to use a slicer. You can kind of use whatever you want, a boning knife here, a slicer. I'm just a slicer guy. Just kind of feather this down and take a little bit of that silver skin off of there. Just trying to make this as even as possible. So that's our ribs trimmed up, ready to go. Now our next step is we're going to add some seasoning to this. So now we've got our nice trim slab of loin back, baby back ribs. We're going to start to add a little bit of our mustard binder and start with our seasoning. I start on the back side first. I'm using a little bit of foil, kind of keeps the kitchen clean, kind of keeps whatever you're working on from getting, you know, seasoning and rub everywhere. So you start with a light coat. A couple things you can do here. You can kind of brush this in with a brush, or you can just kind of come in here with your hands. You don't necessarily have to have a brush, but just kind of come in here and just a light coat that we're just trying to add. You can add hot sauce to this if you want to add a little bit of heat to your rib as another layer of flavor. Pickle juice, it's kind of up to you. Be creative, but for me, I'm just a mustard guy. Then we'll come in here with our salt, pepper, and garlic rub. Next is our all-purpose Grilla rub. We'll just do a nice medium coat of that. Get all that through there. Kind of turn your rib up, kind of get your corners. Your bones are curved. Just kind of tilt it up and it kind of gets all in that valley there of that rib. So there you have nice seasoned backside of that rib there. You know, got a little bit of rub come off, but not much. It really adheres to your meat. You know, you can sit there and let that sweat in for a few minutes and then, you know, turn it over to the other side. Same process. Come back with a little bit of mustard layer. Get that brushed in a little bit there. Then we're gonna come back, salt, pepper, and garlic, the holy trinity of any kind of cooking you're doing. All-purpose rub. Get a nice medium coat there. Then we've got some nicely seasoned loin back ribs. Typically what I would do from here, I let these sit out for about 15-20 minutes as I fire up the smoker and get it up to temp and let that seasoning start to penetrate the meat a little bit. I love cooking on racks. This is our Grilla Grills jerky rack. I'm using one shelf of it and I've got these laid out. You can kind of see the loin back ribs, and this one up here is starting to sweat out a little bit. So now we're ready. We're gonna be cooking today on the OG. We've got our pit fired up at 275 degrees using our competition pellets here. We're just gonna smoke these and add that layer of flavor of smoke till we get the desired bark. About an hour though, we will kind of spritz these. We'll bring you back for that. All right guys, we're back at the cutting board. Our ribs are ready, baby back ribs. They're looking beautiful. Got a nice mahogany color across the top. Basically basted. These are, you can use a spray bottle every hour with a simple apple cider vinegar and water, 50-50 blend. Don't use any apple juice. Don't want the sugars in my smoker. That's gonna render off from the sugars in that apple juice. So this is what our finished product looked like. I think they turned out great. I think only thing we need to do now is just slice into them. You can turn these over on the backside, makes it easier to slice, so you can kind of see where your bones are running. No wrap on these. These are straight up old school style backyard ribs. You're right in there. Get these sliced. Slice a couple more bones here. If you wanted to be generous, you can give them 2 bones there. All right, turn these back over. See how we did. Good moisture retention in there. See a lot of moisture and juiciness still in that rib. Great bite. Good rib. Simple backyard ribs.